Hello everyone, I'm Sabrina. Hope you're all doing good. So today I will be interviewing a special guest, Ms. Gauri. She is a copy and content writer, and she has experience of about 14 years, and she's also a LinkedIn personal branding expert, where she's helped CEOs and coaches in developing the personal brand. And one, great quality about her is that she started her writing journey at the age of 17. So she wrote for a Jam magazine, and but you can say she started earning a six-figure income at that age itself. So, so let's wait for her to get on the call. Okay. So let's see what she's doing. Hello. Hi, Gauri. Is my voice audible?
Yes. Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, your video is also okay. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hi Gauri, I welcome you to this interview. Hope you're doing good.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah. After a lot of iterations and
I
postponements,
know.
finally we are, back.
I know.
Yeah.
Finally, we are speaking.
Yeah. So I got to learn about you on LinkedIn that you started your professional journey at the age of 17, right? So
Correct.
like, can you just tell me about your journey? How did you start writing?
Yeah. Yeah. So actually, the thing was, I never knew I could write. I was studying. I'm from
Okay.
Mumbai, so I was studying in one of
Okay.
the South Bombay colleges, wherein
Okay.
college festivals are a very big thing. So we
Mm.
have the best of magazine partners, newspaper partners,
Okay.
etc. So when I was in college, we had Jam magazine, which is a youth magazine, which is very
Okay.
very popular back then, and
Okay.
they were our magazine partners. So for the event, we had to write a press release, the pre and
Mm.
post press release, which is something I had written. And that was noticed by the CEO of Jam magazine, and he inquired who had written, and that's how I got my first internship. So it was
So
by
what was
fluke,
it about?
it was writing.
It
So
was
it's a
basically
magazine, it
right.
was a feature writer. Yeah.
That's right.
So
Okay.
basically, I had to go and, attend press conferences,
Mm.
interview celebrities, or go to
Okay. Okay.
different colleges or different places and cover events, like, take photos, speak to the
Yeah.
organizing committee, and then
Mm.
eventually draft articles. So the
Mm.
internship lasted very, very briefly, like a month or two, and immediately they took me in as a freelance feature writer.
Okay.
So that's how, I started writing.
Mm.
Once was like done, I joined Pen Pandit, which is it's essentially a content writing agency. So I
Okay.
started writing for them, and that went for a very very long period. After
Okay.
that, I kept getting clients. I
So this
started
was after
writing for
you
different.
completed your graduation or before that itself?
No, this was through while I was still studying.
Studying.
So
Okay.
at 18, 19,
19.
20. So,
Okay. Okay.
as I was still studying, I was
That's very
doing this as
inspiring,
well.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that really happened. That wasn't something I had decided. It
Mm.
just happened. Like, I started to write, I started liking it. And then eventually, I started getting clients. Like, I got a lot of referrals. And
But
through that,
which year did you start, writing?
this was around 2007, 2008.
2000. So that time there was like we did not have a lot of digital platforms, right? Right. So there was only Orkut or
Yeah,
something, I guess.
yeah, yeah. It
Orkut
was the social media. I think Facebook was also there
also
eventually.
there. Oh, yeah.
That I got a lot of my clients through referrals. Like I
Okay.
wrote for
Okay.
one client, and then immediately they suggested me to someone else. So that's
Okay.
how the change really happened.
Mm,
And then I went on writing. Then I went for my master's where I was still writing.
mm,
And then something strange happened is I accompanied a friend for a she was appearing for a banking examination, the government banking examinations. So I
okay.
just went along with her to, appear for the exam.
Mm,
And I got through. She didn't get through, but strangely, I got through.
okay.
And then that was a government job, it was a bank. So, everybody was like, you shouldn't, let go, you should go and give it a shot. And the
Mm.
funniest part was when I was still studying, I've done my business management, post
Okay.
graduation, and graduation. So
Okay.
when I was doing my graduation, I was selected by KPMG through campus
Okay.
placements, which is a big name in the financial
Yeah, yeah.
industry. But back then, I said that no, I don't want to do finance. So
Mm.
I want to get into the creative field. So I didn't take it up. But then
Mm.
when a government job was walking my way, then the family, everybody around suggested that, I should go and give it a shot. So then I joined the bank. So I've been a banker for 9 years and I was writing on the side. So I used to do a day job and I used to in the evenings write. But
So
then came a point
writing,
wherein,
yeah, continue, continue, continue.
yes. So then came a point wherein, I felt that I don't want to write,
Mm.
I don't want to be a banker anymore. Like, I don't want to be into
Okay.
finance. And this is not something which is decided overnight, but a lot of thought was given. I went back and forth. A lot of convincing was involved because in times like today, letting go of a secure government job and going for something which is, not certain, wherein every day is challenging, you don't know what comes tomorrow, or you don't have a
Correct, correct.
fixed income in hand.
Mm.
It was difficult for people around me to understand, that why would I want to take the risk? But when you don't have your heart into something and you've already pulled it for 9 years, at some point, you just don't feel like doing it anymore. So
Mm.
I had reached that stage wherein, I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. And then I took a sabbatical for a year. So this was in
Okay.
January 22. So sabbatical
Mm.
is basically, I take a break,
Break, yeah.
and if I still want, I can go back to the bank
Mm.
after a
Mm.
year. So I got a year's sabbatical sanction, so I could still go back. But then after this 1 year, I, wrote a lot. Like full time, I came into writing. I did Instagram management. So to even today, I have like 10 handles that I manage. I did LinkedIn branding for 12 people and 22. And I wrote a lot of blogs, website content, press releases, etc. So then I was very, very fixed that I don't want to go back anymore. And then in December last year, I quit. So now I do, I'm into social media and writing full time. And I
So
feel
you're
that,
but basically working as a freelancer right now with clients.
I am a freelancer. You can say that, I'm an unregistered agency.
Okay.
So I do have a couple of people, like handling Instagram all by myself is not possible when you
Mm-hmm.
have 10, 12 people, 10, 12
Okay.
handles to handle. So I have a couple of junior designers and junior writers who help me out with
Mm-hmm.
that.
Okay.
But LinkedIn, I feel, is a platform not everybody can master yet. So that is something, and I work with a little high net worth clients, like somebody who's a CEO,
Mm-hmm.
who's a founder. So I can't trust any third person with their accounts. So LinkedIn, etc., I do myself. Writing, I do myself because most of my clients have understood the way I write. So if I outsource, they come to know that it's not me who has written. So the writing bit I do, LinkedIn I do, but Instagram, yes, I have people, who help me with the design creation, posting. And I have a friend who, works along with me. So we are like partners on the, not a registered agency yet, but that's where, we wish to go in the upcoming year.
So, like, where did you learn about, digital marketing? And like, it was like self-learned, or did you learn from any mentor or coach?
No, actually, social media happened to me purely out of experimentation. I
Mm.
started LinkedIn also a year back. I
Okay.
started Instagram also a year back. So I wasn't the tech savvy person, who was very well
Mm.
versed with how these platforms work.
Yeah.
And when I initially came here, I saw a few people who were doing really well on these platforms. But for
Mm.
strange reasons or their own reasons, nobody wanted to, come out and share that this is what we do or this is how we do it. So I had no option but to experiment. So for LinkedIn, I started experimenting with my own profile. I started, creating different type of content. I started engaging with people, and that's how my LinkedIn took off. So I got a lot of inbound leads on LinkedIn. I still get. Even yesterday, I have an inbound lead wherein somebody from the opposite side messages you saying this is an opening we have. So would you like to come and collaborate with us? So I've even gotten a lot of full-time job opportunities purely out of content I create on LinkedIn. And Instagram, I started doing it for fun, as in, I started doing my own profile, reels. I used to like doing reels, etc. So I started doing it for my profile out of fun. And then the same thing I felt can be utilized for the client. You do a little bit of planning, you decide on the content pillars, you speak to the client, and then you can come up with that also. And this friend of mine was already into social media, so she's essentially a social media person from the time she's graduated. So she has a better design sense. She knows some, rules that work for Instagram in terms of the algorithm, etc.
Yeah.
So that helped me to, take off. Like, I'm the ideation person. I come up with ideas. I'm good with content. I'm good with wordplay, analogies, and all of
Mm.
that. And she gives a hand with the design, and then there's a team. And I feel it's more of practice. Having a mentor doesn't help. They can just tell you do ABC.
Correct,
But I
correct.
feel the ABC need not necessarily work for everybody. Like, your journey and my journey is completely different.
Different, yeah.
The kind of clients I take, the kind of
Mm.
clients someone else takes is again different. So what works for me might not work for you. So I feel learning out of experiencing experiences, observing what your competitors are doing, and then doing a little bit of trial and error is the way forward, is what I
Yeah.
have come to understand.
Rightly said. That's true. But did you enroll in any certification program or internships for digital marketing?
No, no, I didn't. Because
That's
I started writing at a time wherein, like today, how every second person is a writer or a content creator.
mm,
Back when I started, this wasn't the trend. Like, it wasn't like everybody was on LinkedIn creating content. It wasn't
mm,
like everybody was teaching how to operate social media. So
mm,
when I started, things were very, very traditional. They were very, very generic. And people, even,
mm,
now people say that the clients are offering us poor rates, but my first internship with Jam Magazine paid me really well as per industry standards. And I never had these problems which people encounter as on date. So I feel the time I started really helped me, like the number of years I put in really helped me, because one, if you're good with something, you can obviously take lessons from there and
yeah.
utilize to any other skill that you learn.
Mm,
So I feel and I don't I never required a certification because I started kept getting clients. I
mm,
kept doing work. So I didn't require a proper certification, and I feel that there are a lot of free resources, as
mm,
in you don't really require, if you really want to learn, you want to upskill and you don't want to spend, you go to
mm.
YouTube. There are so many people teaching you so many different
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
You open LinkedIn, there are so many creators teaching you so many different things. So if you have the hunger to learn, I think no certification or no paid course is required. If you can pick up books and learn, you can speak to people and learn, you can read and learn. So there's a vast,
There are so many
platform.
options. Like in YouTube itself, if you go, you can
Exactly.
start learning a lot of things.
Exactly. You go to
Mm,
Quora, you type your
you're
question,
right.
you read out what people have,
Yeah.
expressed. And there is a lot. Like and I feel there are so many courses that gets really confusing whether,
Mm,
it's really worth it. Like, I've seen people who've invested in courses and then said that, they taught me what I already knew. There was nothing new
mm,
that was taught to me, or
correct.
there was no breakthrough there. So I feel that you don't need a course. Like, if you
Mm.
want one, you can take it, but it's not a necessity to grow.
So it is like trial and error. We have to keep doing, and then we'll get to know about it
Yes,
later.
yes, like that's the best way of learning, right? Like, learning
Yeah.
from the roots is the best way to learn. Like, no shortcut works. Even if a
Mm,
shortcut works, it's not sustainable. Like,
correct.
a
Yeah.
shortcut, you might use a shortcut today, you go on for a month or two. After that, you're gonna feel stuck. So
Start.
it's
Yeah.
best to,
Exactly.
and you should have patience and give things time. Like, if you
Mm.
expect that I'd go on LinkedIn today and become a star
So
tomorrow.
as you said, you write content for websites as well. You do, right? Write content for
Right,
website.
right,
So
right.
do you optimize it for SEO or it's just content?
I do the basic SEO, wherein, the
Okay.
basic writing rules need to be applied, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't provide SEO as a paid skill. Out of
Okay.
my writing, creating quality content or writing an active voice, keeping short paragraphs, using keywords, This is the
Mm.
kind of SEO I offer. I don't offer SEO as a paid skill.
Okay. Okay.
Though, there are clients who've been motivating me. Like just recently, I've had a conversation with a client who's been
Mm.
motivating me to, develop on that skill so that they
Mm.
don't have to look for somebody else. So that's something I'm considering. So I'm also still learning a lot of things. Considering writing an ebook, because over the
Okay.
15 years that I've been writing, there are a lot
Mm.
of things I've learned. And like even when I started LinkedIn initially, I didn't get the necessary help I was seeking. So I did conduct a free content writing session for whoever was interested to learn. Because there are certain things which I have learned over this journey, and
Mm.
I feel if I share it with somebody, I save that
Yeah.
person the time
Yeah.
and energy of repeating the mistakes I made.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I feel one of the best ways of growing is by helping others. Like,
Yeah.
unless
That's
you give, you're not going to gain.
correct.
So,
Correct.
and it's not like by giving somebody some piece of my knowledge, I'm
Mm.
going to lose on any opportunities, because I feel there are a lot of opportunities
Correct.
for everybody. Like, there are so many brands, every day a new
Mm.
startup is coming up. We are turning into like an entrepreneurship economy. So, there's a lot of work going to be there. So it's not like, I'll be deprived of work if I share my knowledge with somebody.
Mm.
So I feel these are the things like, collaboration, unison, working collectively is what's going to take us ahead.
So my career has started in digital marketing from past 4 or 5 months because I was an IT graduate. I was into the IT sector. So my son is around 2.5 years old.
Okay.
So I got into digital marketing. What
Okay.
advice would you give to, entry level digital marketers? Like how, they can learn and how they can implement what they're doing?
I feel that only piece of advice is to keep
Mm.
learning. Like, I feel learning is a continuous process,
Yeah.
that no certification or no YouTube channel is going to give you everything. Like, every day you open a new resource, there's something
Mm.
to take from it. So, firstly, I feel that you should keep learning. And digital field is, it's evolving rapidly. Like, what's relevant today may not be relevant tomorrow. So,
Mm.
you need to be accepting of the pace at which the industry as a whole is evolving. So you have to evolve with the industry. Like, you can't say that, I am, like, for example, the Zomato Blinkit meme which everybody was making, the
Yeah.
collaboration ad. So this is relevant today. If you wake up after 2 months and make it, it's not going to be relevant after
Relevant.
2 months,
Yeah.
because that's the current trend. So, you need to be aware about what's happening in the
Mm.
industry. You need to pace up with the industry, and you need to keep learning. And I feel it's not always about waiting for a trend to be created. You can yourself create a trend. And I feel virality is not a very good dimension of understanding your growth. Like, 1 year I've been on LinkedIn, but I've not gotten any post which has gone viral as such. But I've gotten some very, very good clients irrespective. Like, I still have the 5K bracket, but my LinkedIn clients have like 20K followers, or even a million followers on YouTube. I worked with somebody who has a million followers on YouTube, so they wanted to, get started with their LinkedIn. So that is where I had helped them with. So I feel that, virality is not a very good parameter to derive your success. And you need to just, like, there was the longest time where, I was trying to do what works for the platform. Like, people say that take a problem and provide a solution, or go for a listicle, or do this or do that. But I feel that, as a creative person, that doesn't give you satisfaction, because you can't always write or think in line with an algo or some technology. At times, as a creative person, you need to let yourself free, and you need to work around things which interest you or which make you happy. So that's my current agenda been for 2023, that, I don't want to go with any algorithm. I just want to create content which means something to me, which I feel is useful to others. And that's what, I'm continuing to grow. Like, every day I share content which has made a difference to my life, which means something to me, and which I feel will be useful to people who read it. I just don't want to sell the same, be consistent, practice, learn. I don't want to pick up a quote from Google and decorate it and put it up on LinkedIn, because I feel that people can get all of that on Google. They don't need me. So, my basic agenda behind creating content, and even as a digital marketer or any person in the creative field, I feel that you need to bring something of you to the table, something which is unique to you, something which is unique to your personality. The simple way of putting this is do something which people cannot find on Google. Like, for example, you may have worked with a client on for some digital marketing campaign, and you may have faced a very, very unique type of challenge, and then immediately you would have found a solution which might have worked for you. So how did that happen? How were you able to, break that gap and pass through and make the most for your client? So if you share something like that, people relate more because that's something which is related to you and not something they can get on Google. So that's how my process of content creation on all platforms is. Like, I talk about things which are related to me, not just professionally, personally also. Like, there
Yeah,
are
that
so
is,
many things.
like good because people connect to you personally as well. Even if you
Right.
put your personal journey or story, they connect to you.
Right. So yeah, exactly. So yesterday, that's what yesterday I had just made a post saying that I'm wanting to write more,
Mm,
because when I do social media, the writing bit is just one part of it. But when I'm writing a blog, I'm writing website content, writing becomes the number one priority. So
okay.
yesterday I did make a post saying that I'm looking to write, and through that one post in an hour, I got somebody message me saying that I just read your post and saw that you want to write. So this is what website is. Do you think you'd be interested to write for this? So, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to put yourself out there. Like, some people feel that if I
Yeah.
go and say that I want work, then people might think I don't have work.
Mm,
But what people
yeah.
think is not important. What is
Correct.
important is for you to get work. Like,
Correct.
initially, when I started, I have taken up projects which have not paid me that well, like they pay me today. And then there were people, when I started LinkedIn, there were people suggesting that you don't work below a certain rate, or you take buying in low rates is not acceptable. But then when you have a family to run, when you have EMIs to pay, your first priority is to get work. You can't wait for 6 months and say that, oh,
Correct.
I'll wait for getting for 6 months, I'll stay hungry, I'll not feed my family, or I'll not pay my EMI. So you need to be practical. So that's what I feel.
That's interesting. So, what do you think? Like AI, will it replace content writers? What's your take on that?
No, I don't think so. Like, I just
Mm,
was having a conversation with a client the other day who said that, I have made this, that, everything for my
mm,
website, etc., using AI. But
mm,
from, be it marketing, be it sales, be it any other field, from the earliest days, what we have been preaching that, कुछ भी कर लो, जब तक personal touch नहीं होगा,
yeah.
nothing
हाँ,
is going to, work.
correct.
Like marketing, any robot coming and saying that buy a product, and contrary, a person come and saying buy a product, it makes a difference. Sometimes you get
Mm,
irritated. Oh, we are calling and there's a machine answering. It's so irritating. But if there's a
irritating. Yeah.
person, we are relieved
Yeah.
that, okay, there's somebody attending. So
Mm,
I think AI is here to support writers,
yeah.
not replace them. And even if, there are clients who initially feel like they're saving money doing all this, eventually they have to realize that, it's not leading anywhere, and they're going to come back to the writers. So you can
That's
get
nice.
prompts, you can get ideas, but you cannot create value out of
Value
a
out of.
machine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well
So
said.
creativity comes from, ambition, experience, observations, experiments, something which
Mm.
AI doesn't do.
So, what do you think that digital marketing is a profitable career for women? Why should women choose this career option?
I don't think it's gender specific.
Mm,
Anybody who wants to, digital marketing as a field is here to stay. Like,
mm,
pre-COVID, we never understood the importance of
mm,
digitalization. Like, there were many, many traditional businesses who didn't have any online presence,
mm,
and they suffered massively during COVID.
mm,
But now the thing is that, now again there are news, like we have, when we pitch to clients, they say हमें जरूरत नहीं है social media presence की,
mm,
website की, ये वो. But now when you tell them, देखो COVID कभी भी वापस आ सकता है. Like we read in the news, everything is again popping up in China, and
mm,
anything can happen. Like we're living in an unpredictable world.
mm.
So digital marketing as a field is going to stay. Like people have started finding comfort in online shopping. So in that case, improve, and there's so much competition. You have to, create visibility for your brand. So considering all of that, I feel that digital marketing as a field will here to stay, evolve, and of course, irrespective of the gender, you can go ahead and take it.
Okay. That's interesting. That's it. So this brings me to the end of the session. It was lovely talking to you, Gauri. I hope
Same.
we meet in future. So
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely. And I wish you all the best with
thank
your
you for being a
marketing
part.
career on.
Yeah, thank you for being a part of my webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Take care.
You too. Bye.